Hey everyone, to this week's video of me talking about all the reads that I did in the Maldives and also October. So this is the view right now. This is my last day in the Maldives. I'm honestly so sad. This place was such a dream. I 10 out of 10 recommend you come to a Maldivian island that is local and have a local experience. I know everybody does like little bungalows, but I definitely come back and do that as well. But oh my gosh, the local experience was so amazing. And I had so many good reads while I was here. This is the most books I've ever read in a whole month. Oh my goodness. I think this month I'm opening my fable. I read 6 books this month. I've never read 6 books in my entire life in a month, and I did that this month. So I am going to be talking about first reading tips, and then I'm going to be talking about monthly wrap up, and then I'm going to be doing a TBR for my birthday month, and my birthday month is November. So I'm going to be having some really good reads on my Kindle. Me and my Kindle have been like this lately. So let's talk about some reading tips if you want to be obsessed with reading like I am. I'm going to talk about how I got into it. The only way I know is how I got into it and some things I've seen online. So I'm going to be talking about that. Now, the first thing I would say is tip number 1. I'm going to give you 3 main tips because that's really all you need. Tip number 1 is to make it easy. Make it freaking easy on yourself. I'm talking about go on Book Talk, and the most hyped books that you see, they're hyped for a reason, babes. It's because they're easy reads. It's because they are widely loved by a lot of people, and that means that you increase the chance of you liking the book as well. So why not freaking go for it so that you can start your reading obsession? I started with It Ends With Us. I know everybody's like, oh my gosh, It Ends With Us, Colleen Hoover, blah, blah, blah. She's such a bad author. But the way I could not put that book down, the way I was thinking about it, the way that I still remember the story, like if she's that bad, why did I go through that fast? Or am I the problem? But no, I would definitely recommend It Ends With Us as a first book because it is highly popular for a reason. People read it really fast for a reason. I read it really fast for a reason. Very easy read. The language was easy. The plot was easy to understand. If you want to start a habit, you want to start at the lowest barrier to entry, and I would say do a book that is highly hyped. And that might be very unpopular opinion, but that is my opinion nevertheless, because when all you need to do is get through that first book where you're like, wow, I just breezed through this book, and then all of a sudden you have that mindset shift that, wow, I can like literally read books all day. And that is what you want to get to. That's you want to have the mindset shift. Like when it comes to content or business or anything like that, I say that there's 3 stages, and the first stage is to get going, the second stage is to get good, and then the third stage is to get smart. So the first stage is you want to get going. You just want to get the process going, and that's why you're going to start with an easy book. And then second, you're going to get good, and you're going to find out what you actually like, and you're going to start doing a little bit more of your research and say, hey, I like this about this story, and this story I didn't like it. And then you're going to tailor your TBR list and the books next time for basically a good read that you know that you will end up liking more likely. And then you're going to get smart, and then you're going to start being like, I know I'm going to like this book. I know, I am going to love this trope. I'm going to love the friends to enemies trope, or I'm going to love, fantasy or whatever that it is. So that's what I would say for that, is get a very highly hyped book. I would just honestly search up Book Talk on TikTok, or you can go on Pinterest, and it's all right there for you. The second part to it is I would say make it fun. Make it fun. Download apps like Goodreads and Fable. And the thing about Fable is that it's a little bit different than Goodreads, but it's the same concept. It's basically where you track your books, but Fable is more kind of like a social media platform. So you can see what other people are reading, and sometimes there's prompts, and then also there's like cool little like graphics like this so that you can basically see how many books that you read each month, and it basically categorizes you as you read more books. And there's just a lot of amazing graphics on here, so I would go ahead and do that. Like there's just so much things to make it feel like an actual game. You do not want to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm doing work to read a book. No, reading should be pleasurable, and this is going to end up being like a really big hobby for you. So I would say make it fun by getting apps like that. Get connected with other people that like the same things as you. So 10 out of 10 recommend. Also, another thing to make it fun is there's a lot of challenges that booktubers do, and booktubers are just YouTubers that talk about books. One of the YouTubers I love is Sarah Connolly. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that right. I'll put her little channel thing right here. But I love her. She does so many good booktube videos, and also she does a lot of challenges. So maybe you can do a challenge as well. For example, like she did one, I believe, where she replaced her screen time with reading time. So like she went Monday, what is last week's Monday? Like how much screen time did she have? And then she went ahead and read that amount. Or how many times she picked up her phone, she read a page of a book. So little stuff like that will actually make it fun and make it a challenge. So that's what I would say for you. Me, what makes it fun for me is I get to make YouTube videos about it. I get to go in my fable and like have it be a little like thing where I connect with other people that love books. Number 3, I would say get into the community, and what I mean by that is like watch booktubers, watch book talk, watch, you know, follow people on Instagram that do love books as well. Stuff like that will just make it more of an experience for you. And also like the booktube community is amazing. Also like join book clubs or make one. Like, oh my goodness, I've seen a girl on TikTok, I forgot her name, I'll try to find her, but she basically creates like these monthly book club meetings where she themes them and she does decorations themed from the book, and she makes like little drinks and charcuterie boards and all that, and she brings her girls together every single month to have that like basically a party, like a book party. Like I can't wait to have one of those. Highly recommend joining book clubs. You can join book clubs on Facebook. You can also join them on Fable. This is just like, it seems like a whole Fable sponsorship. It's not, but if Fable wants to sponsor me, I'm very open to it, okay? I love their app. But yeah, I would say go ahead and join those book clubs, Fable, Facebook groups, and create one with your friends. That is one way that you can go ahead and get obsessed with book reading. But now let's get into the reading wrap up that I had for the Maldives, but also October. I'm gonna tell you exactly how I rate these books. A lot of people rate differently, but I am gonna put it right here. So that is how I'm gonna be rating these books. And the first book that I started with was a book I never really tried before, but I read the book Praise by Sarah Kate, and this is a dark romance book. I've never read a dark romance book, and I'm definitely gonna read another dark romance book. I'm not really gonna get into the details because I don't know how much I can talk about here on YouTube, but I would say read the description. It is pretty spicy. It's very pretty spicy. I started off the month with a dark romance, like really spicy book, and I feel like that set the great tone for the month. Like that's literally a life hack for me, is like I think every month I'm gonna either start with a dark romance or a very spicy book, because it just makes me want to like keep reading and reading and reading and reading, and it puts me in a positive momentum. So I'm definitely gonna use that as a life hack. So I rated this 3.5 stars, and I say that because there was still a plot. The writing was not terrible. There was no plot, I would rate it 2 stars or below, but there was an actual plot, and it didn't get spicy like immediately. It was like 50% of the book, and like it started building up. So I like that there was, again, still a story there, and I would recommend this to the right reader. Okay, so the reader that's interested in reading something like this. And then for number 2, I read, oh my gosh, I read my last, not my last Abby Jimenez book, but the last of the Part of Your World series, and it's called Just for the Summer. And it's bittersweet because I love Abby Jimenez. I back to back was reading her books. Last month I read 2 of her books, and that's all I read for the last month. But this month, like, I read Just for the Summer, and it was bittersweet because it was so freaking good. And I know she has a release coming out next year, and it's called Will You Remember Me, and I'm really excited for that. Like, I'm gonna eat that up. I love her writing so much. So I gave this a 4.5. This is just amazing. I love this book because of the story. There was a lot of lessons here. I feel like there was a lot more lessons in this book than her last books, and it was a lot more meaningful, and it was a lot more deep. I love how she portrayed like what each character was going through and how they resolved it, but also how they resolved problems with each other. It just was a really good book. I would highly recommend it. The reason why I gave this a 4.5 instead of a 4 is because I really love books with a strong MMC, with a strong male main character. I do not like books where the main character is like just so weak, like a weak man. Okay, I do not like that. So I usually give books that with weak MMCs like a 4, but this one is a 4.5 because this MMC was a little bit stronger and I feel like way more deep and actually stood its ground. So I like that. I didn't give it a 5-star because it did not really like tear jerk me. It didn't like rise up that many emotions other than like, wow, I really love this book. Like that's really all the emotions that it gave me. Like, a 5-star to me is something that like makes me cry and it makes me smile and it makes me like really deeply feel things, and I really love this book, but it didn't quite have that effect on me. So that's that. I would recommend it for everybody and definitely for a summer read. Next book I read is, I really wanted to get into fantasy, so I read House on the Cerulean Sea, and it had like magic creatures in it, so I was like, I want to read this since it's October, and I really did love that book. I did say in my like first video I made about reading that I had like some woke stuff in it, so I don't think it's gonna be a 5-star read. It wasn't a 5-star read, it was a 4-star read. I would say it was a really amazing, cute story, and I love that there's a lot of lessons in it. So I really like this a lot, but there was something a little off about it, and I would say the little off about it was the fact that they had to like add a whole bunch of wokeness to it. So that's what I would say for that. And then I read The Paradise Problem, which was such a good beach read. Like if you're going somewhere tropical for the summer or even to the beach, I would highly recommend reading that book. I ended up giving it 3.75 star, and that's kind of specific, but I really recommend it to people that are going to, you know, a tropical location. And honestly, I might just give it a 4 because like I actually really did like the plot. I just feel like it went a little bit slower in the beginning. It did start to pick up. It's kind of like, when are we going to get to the point, but it ended up being really good. So I recommend that. Right now it's at 3.75, but I think I sit on it. It's going to be a 4. Me and the rating books 4 stars are like, it happens a lot. I just don't think that I would continue reading something that is a 2-star. I don't know if I'll ever get to it, but we'll see. Next book I read was It Happened One Summer, and this is basically just like a small town romance. This is the first small town romance I have ever read, and I really love it. Oh my gosh, now it's like making me want to read the Chestnut Spring series. I was already gonna get to it, but now I'm even more excited to get to it. This girl was basically like an influencer, a social media star, whatever, and like she got into trouble, so her stepdad sent her over to a small town to actually understand what life is about, and in the process she met a guy, and it goes along that story. So I really liked that plot line. I gave it a 3.5. Again, it's a great light summer read. I went through it very fast, so I would highly recommend that. And then the last book that I read was People We Meet on Vacation, and it's like I literally just finished this book yesterday, and I rate that a 4 stars. It's by Emily Henry. I read Beach Read, and Beach Read, oh my gosh, 4.5 stars. Literally like borderline 4.75. Like, Emily Henry's writing is so good. I love her storylines, and this book was done fantastically too. In the first half of the book, I was like, where the heck is this going? Like, where is it going? I genuinely did not know, but it ended up going really good on the like last half. So I would say this is a little bit of a slower burn, but it is the friends to lovers trope, and I don't know if this is making me like not like the trope. Like this book did not really like make me totally like the trope that much. I haven't read that much friends to lovers tropes, but this book did not really do it for me. I feel like this book did okay when it came to that trope, but I just love the storyline. I think I need to just read more books, and then I will see if I do end up liking the tropes. And that's the thing about reading. It's like you will keep reading and reading and reading, and you will end up seeing, oh my gosh, I'm gonna eat this up. And like when you do, you're gonna be so excited, and oh, just like the feeling of going through an amazing book is unfreaking matched. What doesn't make it a 5 is the fact that I was confused for the first half of the book, and then also for like the miscommunication I felt like was very interesting. I don't think it was necessary at all for them to miscommunicate that much. It's basically about these friends that go on vacation every year, and something happens between them that makes them stop going on vacation for like two years, which is a long time for them. So the reason why they didn't go on vacations and like they kind of had a break, I didn't really think it was that huge for them like not to talk for 2 years straight. But nevertheless, I think like when the book continued, it did become a pretty satisfying ending, but not the most satisfying. So I'm reading Emily Henry's book in publication order, so I'm very excited. This is the second book I read of her, like I said, and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. Emily Henry is a great, great, great author. Speaking of reading Emily Henry books, in the next month, which is my birthday month, November, my birthday is literally in 2 days from today. I'm so excited. It's my birthday month, so I want to have some good, juicy reads. And there has been some reads that I have been sitting on for a long time, and I know that I've been waiting for this month so that I can have some really good, satisfying reads. You can see in September I've only read 2 books, but in October I read 6. I 3x'd the amount of books that I read, so I was like, why not just read 8 books this freaking month? Like, you know, I was like, if I can do, you know, triple from the month before, I can obviously do like a little bit more. Like, it's not gonna be too bad. I don't know if this is an ambitious goal. I'm an ambitious person, so I love challenges, and I feel like having a TBR list, like a solid TBR list, like this was the first month where I had a solid TBR list. So I feel like it gave me a little bit more of a challenge and made me enjoy reading a lot more. First thing that I'm already reading and I cracked into, and I'm 4% in the way on my Kindle, is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. So I was like I said, we're going to start with the spice books every month and see if this is the winning formula, okay? So I am going to start with that. Honestly, love the book so far. The way that Penelope Douglas writes is really, really good. So I'm like, wow, this book is going to hit. I just feel like it's really going to hit, and I feel like it's going to be like a solid 4 stars. And so we'll see. Next thing I'm going to read is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And I know everybody read this in October. I'm going to be kind of late to the party, but guys, like, this is the month of Thanksgiving and fall still, so I don't think I'm ever too late. So Pumpkin Spice Cafe I am going to read, and also I'm going to read The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore. Now I just heard these are really like fast reads and like hearted and romance and all that stuff, so I'm excited to read these because I want to read The Christmas Tree. I forgot what the other one is, but it's the 3rd book. I want to read The Christmas Tree whatever in December, and I want to make sure that I read it in order. I just love reading books in order, in publication order. So I'm going to read that. And then guys, everybody's been hyping up this book, The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I think that's how you pronounce her name. So I am going to read that book. I've heard such good things about it. So if this is going to be like a hit, like I think it might be a 5-star read. We will see. The next book I'm going to read is Book Lovers by Emily Henry, because like I said, I'm reading it in publication order, and I really loved the last 2 books that I read of her. So I'm excited to get into this publication order because I know that I'm going to want to read another book, and I am literally like dragging it out. If it was for me, I would honestly just read the rest of her books all this month or for the rest of the year, but I'm gonna drag it out because I know her next book is coming out next year, and I want to give myself some time. You know, I don't want to be waiting that long. So yeah, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. And right now I'm reading The Giant Within by Tony Robbins. Like I said in my last reading video, like I want to read this a little bit slower, but also I just want to finish it this month. Honestly, like it is really good, and I know that if I read the book and take really good notes, this book will have a really huge effect on me and my self-development. So I am looking forward to reading that book for this month. And then I'm going to finish Eat, Pray, Love. I have been reading that. I think I'm about like 20% in, and it's by Elizabeth Gilbert. I'm going to keep reading Eat, Pray, Love and hopefully finish that by this month. And then the last book that I'm going to read is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I freaking love Kristen Hanna so much. If you have not read The Nightingale, like just turn off this video, get The Nightingale on Kindle, get it on your phone, get it on whatever, get it in the bookstore. That book is amazing. That is my first 6-star read, like not even a 5-star read, a 6-star read. It was tear-jerking, it was emotional, it was immersive. Like the way that woman writes is just pure gold. So I'm excited to read more of her books, and one of the books that have been highly rated is The Great Alone, so I'm very excited to get into that. But that's basically the video for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys read more books this month. I highly recommend you just go straight into it. Like I said, get going, get great, and then get smart when it comes to reading books and when it comes to anything you start that is new. Reading books has been so amazing for me this month. I have been the most productive this month. I have been the most on point that I have ever been in a long time, and that's because I feel like I've been reading, and I think it's just helped me a lot with focus. My king says all the time that I have ADHD. I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but I could see why he says that. Definitely, for sure. My mind goes a million miles a minute, and when I'm reading, it forces me to focus. It forces me to focus on one task, where I feel like it greatly helps me a lot in other parts of my life, such as business and content and other things like that, and other projects that I have going on. So it has helped my focus a lot. It's not just about enjoying, you know, romantic books. It's also about, like, it's been helping me a lot when it comes to productivity. So if that's the one thing you needed to hear to get on it, I would highly recommend that. But also, it just gives me that little break in the day to actually, like, enjoy my day, and that's what I would say. And also open my mind to, like, more creative ways of seeing things, honestly, and really improve on my storytelling. I love learning different aspects of the book and how they relate information. And yeah, it's really been helping me. That's gonna be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making this video because I love reading. Definitely looking forward to making more videos like this. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, and make sure to follow. I'm gonna make a lot more traveling content. I'm gonna make a lot more reading content. And I'm gonna make a lot more self-development, growth journey content, fitness journey, all of that stuff. So make sure to subscribe, share this with a friend, and I love you guys. See you in the next video. Bye.